Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is just a little bit of a getting started video for how to kind of get moving with the NITROBA um, lab assignment that I posted for this week. So this is kind of a fun lab. At least I thought it was pretty fun. Kind of going through it. So the idea is that your scenario is that you're a staff member at NITROBA University Incident Response Team. A teacher at this institution has identified that they are getting harassed at their personal email address, and they think it's one of their students in their class, and they've contacted you to try and find out a little bit of who it is and what can be done about it. So they've provided some general information about where it came through, and the specific information that's kind of been pointed to is that it is coming from a student at the NITROBA University's dorm room. A little bit of information is where they think that they've been able to track the information from. So there's 3 people that live in this dorm, and Barbara's boyfriend Kenny installed a Wi-Fi router on the room, but didn't put a password on the router. I think it's safe to say that we should not trust Kenny with setting up our network in the future. So overall, what's been done is you've already gone through and set up the packet sniffer and captured information. So we waited, and we did get a new email that was sent, and we captured that message that was being sent from that location. So we find out that the message was sent from a site called Will Self-Destruct. So the message goes away after a certain period of time. And now what we need to figure out is who on this list actually sent that potential email, or did any of them actually send that specific message? Is it someone in this person's class, or is it someone outside of this class? So what we have is we want to kind of solve the following problems. So how do we go through and do that? We have 2 primary programs that we can utilize. There are others that we can use as well, but we're going to be working with 2 primary documents to kind of go through stuff. So the 2 primary programs to kind of look at are Wireshark and our other friend here, Network Miner. So how do we kind of go about dealing with this problem? So what I would kind of start with is we do have the PCAP file. So the PCAP file should have been is posted there. Download the PCAP file, and what you'll do is load the file into both Wireshark. To do that, if you've never done it before, go to File, Open, and then select the PCAP file wherever you download it from. The other way to do it in Network Miner is the same thing. File, Open, and select the PCAP file. They can be opened in both of those documents at the same, or programs in the same time. So where I would recommend probably starting is, if you've never really worked with it, I'd probably start with Network Miner. So this is capturing all the data that actually went through, and we're kind of looking through it. Where I would probably start with is, I would start by looking at, say, like the messages that were sent to this professor's email, and we can see the information that it's kind of coming from. So it's coming from sendanonymousmail.net and willselfdestruct.com. So the first email we see the message that was actually sent to this instructor, but the information that we might want to take away from it specifically is we have the source IP address of where this actually came from, which is 192.168.15.4, and it's an Apple device that actually sent this message. And we also know that it came from another site called, say, like Will Self-Destruct. So good information to kind of note there. The next thing that I would kind of look at after we have that information is we might want to start taking a look at, say, some of the keywords that might show up with this. Now, I've already added in my keywords, but I'll show you a little bit about how to do it as well. So when we go to keywords, what we can add in is a couple of different kind of keywords that we might want to kind of look for. So we might want to search for keywords such as teacher, male, and I added in anonymous because we can see that it came from anonymous, send anonymous mail there. And you might want to add in additional things like will self-destruct, and additional information to built in here. And from here, we can start seeing the list of keywords of where it goes, and we can start seeing information along the lines of, it looks like the person that sent this message is 192.168.15.4, and it did come from a website that says, will I go to jail for harassing my teacher? So they did a search on, it looks like Yahoo, the superior browser or search engine, right? Should have done Ask Jeeves. But you can see that, and we can see that the specific thing was kind of, that person was kind of browsing for that. So that gives us some good information right there. Other things that we can look at as well is now that we know that, hey, this specific IP address, 192.168.15.4, is sending some information, maybe we might want to try and figure out that information as well. So we can go over to credentials, and it will be filtered already by address. And we can scroll down and we can look for 192.168.15.4. And what I would do in the credentials side of things is maybe look for, say, like a username that might pop up that came from this specific address, and you might figure out a little bit more information about who actually sent it. Additional things that we can do in, say, Wireshark is we can go to the filter, and if you try and look at this right now, there's a lot. So what we might want to filter off of is by, say, source IP address or destination IP address. So if we're filtering by source IP, we can use the filter called IP.source, src, space, equal, space, and then the IP address that we want to filter for. And in this case, it was 15.4. Once you do that, we can see the information that was actually gone through and sent to different locations. And we might want to look for specific websites or locations of where people have kind of gone to. So we can do things along the lines of, maybe I'm looking for information on this specific user and I want to follow this specific TCP stream. I just selected the random one. Or better yet, maybe we want to follow the HTTP stream. And what we can see here in the HTTP stream is if you scroll through it, we can actually see what was actually sent, what information was kind of built out, and we can actually have a better idea of what they're actually searching for when they kind of go through this. So this gives us a better idea of what they were actually browsing for and gives you a chance to kind of go through it. Now, when it comes to like what you should be looking for, I would recommend that you utilize it in conjunction with Network Miner to maybe look for specific things such as, hey, we wanted to look for information on, let's see, in the mail section, maybe we wanted to look for something along the lines of their login information, or where they connected up their personal email address. And you can find that buried in this specific location. So again, I don't want to give away too much in this, but this should be kind of a good starting point to kind of go through it. So if we wanted to filter off of, say, like additional information, we could filter off of, say, a different destination address, such as the person that sent the email address to this specific IP address was going towards, if I look at it correctly, sorry I did that filter a little bit earlier. Let's find the 192 address, 15.4, our outgoing messages, and that specific message that was being sent out from the will self-destruct was the 69.25.94.22. Sorry, I got that IP address from the messages section, so I filtered from that location, and from there we can figure out information about what was actually sent and follow the stream. And this tells us a little bit about what they actually browsed to and what the website actually said. So gives us a little bit more information about there. So hopefully that helps with kind of where to get started. Again, utilizing Network Miner, we were able to already identify where the IP address of this machine came from, or this message came from. And from there you can also utilize keywords to kind of help you go through and build your case against this specific system. And you can also tally up the go through the host information of all the different websites or locations that this person browsed to and connected up to. So again, hopefully that helps getting started. If you have questions, again, feel free to email me. I'm happy to provide a little bit of additional help. And also remember, I'm available for one-on-one sessions and also have my office hours on Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 over Zoom. Thanks. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your day.